Where is Josh? Where is Josh? We want Josh. Osh, kosh, bagosh. We're going to wait for... There he comes.
Here he is.
So we got Josh now. Hang on a second. Let me just... I'm coming, Josh. I'm coming. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Hang on, you can see two of us. Hello, Josh.
Hey.
Hello, James.
There you are.
What do you mean there we are? What do you mean? We came to the room and you weren't there.
Whoa.
Whoa.
10 minutes.
Don't, because I'm now going to click on the email that says that Josh is waiting. 9:56, so 10 minutes is a lie. That's one. Okay. 2, we'd arranged 10 o'clock.
We've been here for hours, actually.
I believe that guy.
I am getting quite a lot of tension. We can't see Josh there. Let's do it this way. I'm getting quite a lot of tension between Josh and James, and I think this relationship is on the brink of breaking down. What's interesting, it's nice to see you guys again.
Hey.
This is Catherine.
Hi, nice to meet you.
James.
Hiya.
What's interesting, I did Josh's podcast a while ago now, and Josh was completely bald.
What?
During that. And now, I mean, he's letting it grow again.
Damn.
Oh, damn.
He'll never go that short again.
Oh, was it a mistake?
Was it a step too far?
Looked ill.
Oh, yeah.
I know exactly who you look like, and this was bugging me. The last time we met, I was, you know, when you meet someone and you go away and you just think they look like someone. I've worked out who Josh looks like. Alexander Armstrong from Pointless.
Yes.
Oh my god. Yeah, but he's got some hair.
How are you both doing? How is when was it we spoke? Was it about 6 weeks ago? No, maybe even longer.
Wasn't it?
Time has become.
Yeah, it was ahead of the launch of this. I think it was 2 nights before you started doing the test.
All right.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that was. I think that's about July the 20th. Mm-hmm. So yeah, about 6 weeks. It's nice to see you both. Thank you so much for staying up late. I know this is stupid time, but what the hell? We have to stay up. Why the hell can't you? How's the last sort of 6 weeks or so of lockdown been? Let's start with you first, Josh. How's it been? Are you going? Have you settled into it now? Are you going nuts with it? What's it like?
Josh, he's done with it now. It was all right at the beginning. He didn't mind staying in, but now just you get to the point where you just miss seeing people. Obviously, where we live on the Isle of Wight as well, it's people getting over here. It's not just the normal not being able to see people. See, a lot of Josh's friends live on the mainland, so they haven't been able to get. It's only the last 4 or 5 weeks that the ferries have been running properly again. So
right.
How about you, James? How are you finding it?
Yeah, fine. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, it's all right. Whatever. Bring it on.
It's what it is. No, yeah, it's been good. I mean, it hasn't really changed a lot for guys, really, because we've still been working our, normal shifts and stuff, and it's where Josh has 24/7 care that it still has to be fulfilled. So for us, it's for the days when we're at work, it's much the same, really, and then when we're not at work, same as everyone else.
Yeah, we've both kind of, me and Catherine have sort of reached our first limit. I say limit because we still have to. It'll carry on, whatever. But I'm tired of it, man. I'm so tired of it.
I think we've kind of acknowledged that we're feeling a bit frazzled with it now, and actually, I worry now that I'm passing it on to my kids. My kids went out for the day with their granddad, and my youngest was talking to me about it last night, and she was saying, I'm a bit worried that there's going to be too many people there. And do you know what? I'm concerned that I've passed that on to her. Do you know what I mean? So I had to say to her, look, we're not going to put you anywhere risky. If there's too many people, you won't go in. It's all cool. It's all cool. And maybe I need to chill out a little bit as well around her.
We're starting to let go a bit. What a great time, Josh, to release your new book when you can't do any book tours. No. You can't do any of the shows. I had an author on another podcast today saying their book came out just as lockdown started and they couldn't go out and sell it. And that is, I guess, is integral. Tell us about the book.
Josh said for the last 4 years we've sort of been developing a podcast and a website and stuff, which is a bit ironic seeing as Josh can't talk very well. So for the last 4 years we've been doing that. And just finished writing a book about those interviews, some of the best ones, some of the most prominent figures that we've interviewed, and how they sort of affected British entertainment and how they fitted into the landscape and the psyche, I suppose.
If you see me just looking away, it's just because I'm looking at the chat and I'm just posting the link now to the book on Amazon. If people want to go and have a little look-see at it, they can do. So the book is called Beyond. Now this is beyond the title, The Yearbook.
Yeah, that's it. And
now I'm assuming that my interview was too late to be in this book.
That's right. Yeah, it was genuinely, not just genuinely.
Well, it's been great talking to you, Josh. Thanks a lot. But look who he's got as the quote on the Amazon review.
Oh,
Stanley Johnson. My word. When you interviewed Stanley, could he hear you? Because obviously I worked with Stanley in the jungle, and he would just he'd be given a rule, right? In this game, you can't say the word red, and he'd spend 10 minutes then going, okay, well, so can I say the word yellow? But if I can't, just to clarify, I can or I can't say. So it's red is the word I can't say. Any of the other. And it's just, Stanley, you can't say red. That's it. That's the rule. Yeah. What was he like to interview?
Yeah, he spent the first 10 minutes of the interview on Instagram trying to post a picture. But I'm assuming he normally gets people to help him with that sort of thing. So he was desperate to take a selfie and post it to his Instagram. Yeah. And, so he spent the first 10 minutes trying to work that out. And then through the whole interview, Josh thought his phone was ringing in the back pocket of his wheelchair, but it was because he'd posted this picture on Instagram and tagged Josh in it straight away. He hadn't been out the jungle long. That was probably only a couple of months after, a few months after. So he was still sort of getting a lot of hits on social media.
I had to. I lost Stanley's contact details. I don't know if I still got them, but he posted something on Instagram and put my private email address on there, and so I had to go to Kez, who I was in the jungle with, and say, Kez, could you ask Stanley to take my email address off of his Instagram. He's a silly sod, and you can see why this country's screwed if his son is running it. But you did, so Josh, you did a documentary about like old school showbiz.
Yeah.
So are these some of the same interviewees from the film?
Yeah. But when me that I
We didn't reuse any of the interviews that we did from the documentary, but it was from doing the documentary that realised that that was something that we enjoyed doing, and it was kind of off the back of that when that project finished, we sort of said, well, the most enjoyable part was doing the research and the interviews. So
yeah,
that was why we started the website really after that.
So the film, remind me what the premise of the film was, and have I remembered this right? No one else would make it. People would go, oh yeah, sounds like a great idea. We can't do it.
Oh.
So you just went off and did it kind of off your own bat.
When Josh did his masters, he wrote a film about Bill Cotton, who was the head of light entertainment at the BBC, so the man behind all of the big stars that everyone sort of knew. And then when he was doing the research and everything for that and writing it, the agents and all the people in the background became a bit more prominent, and it was like that point really that Josh realised that story had never been told, because obviously you got a group of people there that were largely responsible for all of the superstars, and obviously
Just letting in a cat. Carry on. Sorry,
Oh,
James.
go
I
on.
can hear a cat scratching at the door. Come on, darling. You coming in?
And,
I'm busy. Thank you.
So yeah, that was kind of the start of that, I suppose. And then it was more about really just trying to tell a story that hadn't been told, that probably should be told, because TV was in its sort of conceptual stages in those days, and you had a lot of people post-war that moved into entertainment because it was something they had a passion for, and then obviously TV ended up growing into a massive thing, but there was no guarantee of that at that point. It was still sort of early days. So that was kind of the Josh's passion for it, I suppose. And
I'm so sorry. I've got another cat that wants to come.
Unbelievable.
I'm not doing
It's
this.
got 4 cats.
George,
It's going to
come
be.
in. Please, I'm busy. I'm talking to Josh. Please, mate. Thank you. So sorry. I'm so sorry. They thought they were coming on a professional show, not some cat sitting.
And now there'll be a fight. You
So
watch.
tell us who. Right. Okay. Who have you got in the book? And I know there's loads because it's 280 pages long. You don't have to list them all, by the way. It could be at some time.
it goes from like one end of the spectrum, like showbiz legends like Jimmy Tarbuck and Barry Cryer and people like that,
Wow.
all the way through to like people like Jeremy Kyle and Shirley Ballas, and like people
Wow.
on like reality shows. And
Yeah. Did we get Tarby
Yeah.
in the end? He was a little bit.
No, I thought it was all right.
I can't remember.
It
I
was,
love
it
all
was
of that.
nice. What tends to happen when we get people on from that kind of generation is they expect us to take the mickey out of them because they've gone through that thing where, the alternative comedians came in and all of a sudden they were a bit of a old-fashioned.
It's also partly, my background as the 11 o'clock show. They
Yeah.
expect me to get them on and then take the piss.
But we never get people on who we don't rate. So I think Tarby, once he realised we weren't going to go for him, he was great.
And we had this thing. Was it 2016 when everyone was dying? Everyone that you'd ever bought a record or a ticket to see, they all died. And we had this, and it's that horrible thing. The day after someone dies, everyone goes, "Well, David Bowie died," and not the greatest example, but he's died, and we all love him, and here's loads of tributes. And me and Catherine thought we should be saying this like before they died to them, So we made a big thing of getting older acts that meant something to us, and we had Bernie Clifton, we had Eddie Large, who I became very friendly with. We had Tarby. We had all of these people that Josh, I think you're a bit younger than me, but that we would have grown up. Saturday night TV, it was these people were huge, and they sort of. You kind of forget about them until they die, and you go, "Oh my God, Jimmy Tarbuck's still alive, but Jimmy Tarbuck was great." It was. Is there an element of that when you meet these people, Josh, particularly the older ones, of kind of letting them know how important they've been?
Funny enough, Josh actually asked Jimmy how he felt about those 80s comedians sort of taking the mickey out of him.
Yeah.
And he said that when he didn't really mind too much because when he met them, they were completely different. It was part of an act that was popular, but not necessarily a reflection of how they felt about that generation. And yeah, I reckon from our point of view, you get that vibe from quite a lot of those guys, probably with the exception of Barry Cryer, because he has made a huge effort to still stay part of whatever the next generation of comedy's doing. He's even now, when we interviewed him for the website, that was an interview which was pretty relaxed. It was at his house, and he was, and he sort of, that's kind of what he likes to still do. He doesn't want to not be involved in stuff because, in his words, as soon as he's not involved, no one wants to know. So it's a double-edged sword, really.
Can you sometimes, Josh, I find myself interviewing someone and sat opposite them and just thinking, how did I end up here? I grew up on a council estate in Slough, and I'm sat opposite Ray Davies from the Kinks, or I'm sat next to Ringo Starr, chatting to Ringo Starr. Do you sometimes get that? How am I ended up Barry Cryer's house? That sounds like the coolest. It just sounds so cool, doesn't it?
It was a pretty cool day. Josh said he gets it all the time, but particularly when he interviewed Jimmy Tarbuck for the website, separate because before he emailed him for the documentary, and then we went back and emailed him just for the website, just about generally his career and everything.
Yeah.
And he invited us to the golf club. I say the golf club, as in the golf club where they all play. And he hires it out for these sort of media days where everyone goes along and stands in an orderly queue. And he'd had a particularly rough day on the course, so everyone was just waiting for him forever. And he was still playing. And he came marching in, and all the other like proper interviewers, like the BBC and stuff, they were getting funny about the time because they were a bit like, well, we've got to go soon. And he was just like, no, I've got an interview with Josh first, and like dragged the crowd and did that first. But yeah, stuff like that's pretty mad when we do things. And
that's what I want my Tarbies to be like, and my Bruceys, and all. I want them to be, you know, late because they're having a crap round of golf. The website I've got this right. I've just put it in the chat. Is beyondthetitle.co.uk.
That's it. Yeah. That's it.
And the podcast is Beyond the Title as well.
Yes, that's right. The podcast is on Spotify, I think iTunes. Most of them get uploaded to YouTube.
Right. It's a good listen, dear listener. Yes, I'm on one, but I'm at the lower end of the list. You've heard some of the names that he's mentioned. It's where he gets some incredible people on there, and the book is. I'm going to get the title of the book right as well because it's Beyond the Title, the yearbook.
Yeah.
Is that tough? I mean, look, the cover looks great. Is that tough to put together? Is that a tough old gig?
Oh, yeah.
Well, he wrote it with his nose, so it's pretty difficult to put together.
Oh, you told me this. So you're doing all the typing with the nose?
Josh uses his iPad and sort of sits on the table, and he just sort of taps away with his nose.
No, mate, no.
I mean, it took a little while to perfect. When I first started working with Josh, like 10 years ago, he didn't use the iPad. So the iPad's a relatively new thing.
Don't tell me you had an old-fashioned typewriter.
Yeah. Well, actually, we used to use a quill.
Up his nose.
No, we had technology. Like I know it's the Isle of Wight, but it's not like third world.
Oh, okay.
We've got like electricity and things like that. He sort of learned. When did you get the iPad? Learned the iPad. Must have been about 2012, 2013. Something like that. And then we got an iPad, gave it a go, and then we just.
All right. So how long does it take? How long does it take to type a book with your nose then?
Josh sort of writes it in sections, and then in terms of like reading it back and stuff, and when we edit it, we normally do that together. The thing with the iPad is it's great for just the creative part of it.
Yeah.
Because Josh can just sort of get things down out of his head quicker than what he would be able to say it and then have a carer type it, especially if we get a new carer who's not so good at understanding Josh. We've had that before, and it's such a long process. So probably writing it with your nose, I reckon you'd do a page an hour, just under. Probably a page every 45 minutes.
Do you ever think, I just can't be bothered? It sounds like hard work doing a book with your nose, and I know that you've had, great ideas that have perhaps not gone as far as they should or haven't been made because of, how you are physically. Do you ever just think, oh, fuck this, what's the point? Or are you constantly driven?
That's hard for you to answer. Ask me. Well, yeah, but to be honest, I think we said to you when we did the interview with you, the main reason why we started the website was off the back of when we made the documentary and it didn't go where we wanted it to. false promises. People at the BBC are looking at it, and you never really get anything back. And the reason why we started the website was to take the power, for want of a better word, to take the power out of the hands of those people, and just be able to create a forum where Josh can basically do whatever he wants. So, there are times when you've written blogs and you go through a stage of writing blogs, or if there's things that particularly, I think, if for you as a writer, from my point of view, sort of looking in, Josh will have an idea and want to be able to write something because it's what he enjoys, but there's not always a guarantee at the end of it. So the website and everything creates somewhere where it still gets to see the light of day, and people still get to see stuff, even when, like we said before, obviously the situation that Josh is in is an obvious hurdle in making it in the entertainment industry or in the media. So, I mean, you've got to kind of work with what you got, I suppose. And luckily, though, it works both ways because of the situation. We've also had a lot of people that have taken an interest in what Josh can do, and then obviously that helps massively when you get people who are interested in what you do. Like, for example, the interview with Jeremy Kyle. When we did that interview, he was still on every day on TV. It wasn't before it got taken down and all that stuff. And he doesn't do interviews. No. Like, we were the first interview that he'd done in over 3 years. And it was just the fact that his PA had sort of said to him, oh, there's this guy, Josh, showed him the website, showed him Facebook and everything. And he sort of said, actually, yeah, do you know what? Let's do it. That's a bit of me.
So it has its drawbacks, but it opens a few doors.
Yeah, of course it does, yeah.
As well.
And I think we've sort of talked about it before, and Josh spoke about it in his autobiography and in this book as well. It would be naive to think that sometimes that sort of aspect of sympathy a little bit doesn't open up doors for getting interviews that otherwise maybe people wouldn't get, I think. That's why for Josh, he's always been really conscious for his podcast to be judged on its own merit and not Make-A-Wish Foundation situation where people are just doing it because he's disabled.
Yeah,
exactly.
And actually, that's quite an interesting thing to be able to see when we meet people, and then they start to hear the questions, and then they start to communicate.
Oh, this guy's actually good and knows his stuff.
And then they start to actually credit where credit's due instead of credit for credit's sake, and that's also a bit of a motive, I think, behind doing it. Is it's good for.
All right, listen, we're going to let you go because it's very late, but we have one final question. Katherine, it is a spooky show. Yeah. I think we need to ask if Josh and James, if either of you have ever seen a ghost.
Well, I tell you,
This first bit's hilarious in itself. But when I was a scout.
James looks really reluctant to pass
I can't say that.
James, what of that can you share with us?
Year, and there was some weird tale about a white lady. Did you say? A white lady that used to do what? Put your campfire out.
Love it.
She'd walk around the campsite every night. And one night Josh saw a shadow. Which, I mean, the only logical explanation for that is that it was the white lady. Yeah,
I don't know how you ever got over that one, Josh.
That was, I'm going to be honest, that was the longest, and I'm going to say it, shittest ghost story that I think we've had so far. Josh Barry, Beyond the Title.co.uk is the website, it's the podcast, it's also the book. I'll put the link in the chat again. James, so nice to see you again.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolute pleasure. And thank you for staying up late. I know it's late. You guys are welcome anytime you want. And Josh, I apologise because I got the dates confused. So last week I tweeted, I've got Josh Barry on. Sends me an email. What? I thought it was next week. What are you doing?
You should have heard him stomping around the house. I think I was making dinner or something, and I just heard doom, 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 doom. Right. Get ready. I'm like, what? He's like, Iain Lee's just emailed me, and it's tonight, not next week. And I was just like, Jed.
I'm so sorry.
So that was fun while it lasted for about 10 minutes.
Makes you feel alive. Makes you feel alive.
Get the heart pumping.
Josh and James, it's so nice to see you. Thanks so much. Go to bed.
Yeah, we're going to go.
Stay safe, and we'll speak again soon. Thank you, guys.
Good night. Nice to meet you both.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. What a crap ghost story. I mean, at first we thought she was just putting the campfire out, but now it just turns out she's just walking about.
Just walking about. They're nice guys, aren't they? They're really, really nice guys. And yeah, I terrified them last week. I emailed him saying, here's the link. I tweeted it. I got an email back. Now I know he types them with his nose. Flipping it. Got an email back saying, I thought it was the week after.
Terrible.
Thank you. Let me put another... there's the book. There's the book. You can get it on Kindle. You can get it as a book. And he's a really, really good interviewer. You know, it's... you